Eisha, a current undergraduate student at the MKeep program, which is a BSDO program in the state of Missouri. And this is part 3 of my series where I explain how I got into 2 medical schools while I was still 18 and in high school. Let's talk about the format of the interviews that I had faced. So I basically did 2 interviews. One was for LECOM, which is a BSDO program with the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine, and the second interview that I did was with MKeep, and that's the program that I'm in right now. It's between Missouri Southern and Kansas City University Medical School. Now, looking at the MKeep interview, it was very different from all the other programs, and I've mentioned this in some of my previous videos. It was an in-person interview. That was the first thing. Second thing, they had invited us with our families. And the third thing was that it was a full day. So it was not just an hour that you come in and you give the interview. It was a whole day. Now that day was from about 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it consisted of campus tours, dorm tours, tours of the buildings around campus, and then the second part of the day was touring the medical school as well. So I thought that that was a really amazing experience where I got to see exactly what I would be signing up for if I came to this program. The actual interview portion where you talk to the interviewers was a total of 30 minutes. It was held at the medical school and it had 3 parts. The first part was a tell us about yourself, so your passions, your hobbies. They asked me what was my biggest accomplishment, what were some shows that I watched, books that I read. The second interview was a why medicine interview. So they asked me what drove me to come to medicine, what events have happened in my life that have urged me towards this field. And the third kind of topic of interview was ethical challenges and then challenges that I faced and how I overcame them. Now, a lot of people have asked me, is the MKeep interview an MMI format? I like to call it a modified MMI just because it's not 20 minutes where you're just sitting in front of one person. There are 3 different stations, like an MMI, 3 different stations, but you spend longer at each station. So in a normal MMI, you usually spend like 1 minute to 2 minutes at each station. For the MKeep interview, we spent about 10 minutes at each station with each set of interviewers. And it was, like I said, there were 3 sets of interviewers and they all asked us different questions. Overall, that interview process was really amazing in terms of what the resources that they showed us as students and also the opportunities for us to express ourselves. It was really, really amazing. Looking at the LECOM interview, it was a virtual interview, which means that there is no person involved. It is just a computer screen, a program that you click start, and they will give you some prompts. You have 2 minutes to decide what you're going to say, and then you have a minute to record yourself answering that prompt. So I was a bit skeptical at first, but afterwards I honestly really enjoyed the process, and some colleges are starting to adopt that, and it's honestly a pretty good process as well for interviews. It lets you showcase your personality and your body language and like the tones that you like to speak in, and it's just a really cool process. So those are the formats of the interviews that I encountered. Looking at my preparation, I had many ways that I prepared for all of my interviews, and let's look at some of the preparation documents that I actually made. So here they are. As you can see, I searched up the top questions that interviewers usually ask for medical programs, for college interviews, and just a bunch of different sites that I went through, and I compiled these questions, and then I wrote sample answers for each of them, and it was a way for me to explore what I wanted to tell the interviewers about myself through those questions. So the benefit of doing this, and I would really recommend doing this for every interview applicant, not just for college, not just for BSMDs, but for anything in life, it's because it gives you a question bank or an answer bank that you can pull from during the interview. One thing that I feel like really you can avoid, one of the mistakes you can avoid during an interview is blanking, and you can avoid that by prepping questions from beforehand. Even if you don't know the exact questions they're going to ask you, you know what you want to say about yourself because you've done this activity. So that really makes you seem a lot more confident, and even if it takes you a minute to remember what you had practiced before when they're asking you that question on the day of the interview. It shows that you've thought this out and you've prepared yourself and you really value this opportunity. That's what I think that it shows. So that's why I always do this. I always prepare a document beforehand with some questions that I think they might ask me, and then some ideas that I want to explore and I want to express about myself. Let's talk about what the secret sauce is. And this is my opinion on what I think really changes the game for interviewees, for students like us who go and give interviews to prestigious colleges, universities, companies. The most important thing for any interview, for you as a student or for you as an applicant, whatever your goals are, is to know what you want to say about yourself and your experiences. If you're going to be dedicating your life, time of your life, to this program, to this job, it is important that you know first what you want from this application, from this program, from this job, and that you can express that properly. So the whole purpose of doing all those preparation documents, like I mentioned before, is to know what you want to say about yourself to the interviewer, so that, let's say, they give you a chance to say, like, is there anything you want to tell us that you haven't before? That's something that you can mention. You can talk about maybe a hobby that you have, a passion that you didn't get to express. For me, that was my hobby of gardening. I spent a lot of time in high school working on my garden. It was one of the most dear things to me, and when they asked me, like, what else do you want to say, that was the first thing that came out, and it was so nice to be able to talk about my passion with the interviewers. And I could tell that sometimes you build those connections, and you can tell from their body language that they see the confidence that you have, the genuine passion that you have for this, and that showcases your personality, your interest, your dedication, your professionalism, the fact that you take out time to do things other than just school or your work. And so that's why I think that this is secret sauce. You should know what you want to tell the interviewers and what you want to express about yourself. Let's talk about how important the interview is. And you may be wondering, well, obviously it's important, otherwise why would you be giving it? I'm not talking about the importance it has for you as the applicant. I'm talking about the importance the program has for offering you this interview. Think about it. If you're going to this interview, it's because they want you to see their resources and for you to show them what you can bring to the table. So when you're at an interview, especially like the MKeep interview where you're in person, you're getting to see all these different resources. Try to I know you're going to be nervous, you're going to be excited. Try to calm yourself down and really assess the situation around you. Look at the resources that they have there. Are those resources going to be something that you can work with? Are those resources going to be something that you see in your future? For me, when I saw the cadaver lab, when I saw the new health innovation building that they were working on, when I talked to the professors, I knew that I could thrive in this situation. So it just made my passion for this program even more. And interviews are a two-way transaction. You're dedicating time of your life to these programs, to these applications. It's really worth that you take out some time and try to see how this is fitting you as well. Don't just go in and try to say what you think they want to hear. Just be yourself. It sounds cliche, but that's the truth. And also look around for your own interests. Do you think that you would thrive? Do you think that the community around this college or this company is something that you want to immerse yourself in, that you would thrive in, that you would really enjoy every single day? That's what I saw in this program, and that's really why I'm here and why I love it so much. So that's my advice, is really take into account how important these interviews are, especially the programs that put effort into inviting their students out in person with their families and showing them the entire campus, showing them the resources that they have. The final point I'm going to make here is really engage your friends and your family to help you with your interview. Practice your questions with them because they know you really well. They can tell you maybe what you might want to mention, some way that you would like to express yourself, your interests, maybe something that you love. For example, for me, my mom and my dad, they really helped me prepare for my interview, and they were pretty determined with me, and they would encourage me, like, hey, did you practice your questions today? What would you think? What would you say if they asked you this? What would you say if they asked you that? Do you want to mention this about I know you've done this opportunity, would you like to mention that? So they really helped me gather all my ideas. My entire family was extremely supportive, and they helped me come up with a lot of ideas that I really would not have thought of before if it was just me trying to prepare by myself. Because as a student, you have so many things going on that you tend to get stuck on like one or two ideas that you want to talk about, but you're so much more than just those one or two ideas, and your friends and your family or whoever you have that's close to you can help you figure that out. Like, what else would you want to say? That's all for my interview video. If anyone has any questions, if you would like me to expand on any points, you can comment, or I have a Reddit thread. You can go and comment on that as well. I really hope that this helped, and good luck. May, everything go well for you, and see you guys next time.